Hello and welcome to Heartland Cattle Call, your all-access pass to everything Limousin in the Heartland. Whether you're in the sale ring, the show ring, or out in the pastures, we've got you covered. Each episode, we bring you exclusive auction previews, market trends, and top-selling cattle straight from the sale ring. But that's not all. We'll also take you inside the biggest Heartland events, showcase top breeders and exhibitors, and break down the latest show results. From production sales to champion ribbons, we're talking with the people who make the industry thrive. Buyers, sellers, ranchers, and showmen who are shaping the future of Limousin cattle. So whether you're looking to invest in elite genetics, sharpen your showmanship skills, or just stay ahead in the business, you're in the right place. Get ready. It's time for Heartland Cattle Call.
Hey y'all, welcome members of the Heartland Limousin Association. We are on our next episode of the Heartland Cattle Call, your all access pass for everything Limousin in the Heartland industry. And we're excited to be here tonight. I have Charlie Tesch with me from the Heartland Limousin Association, and he's going to introduce our special guest tonight.
We're on number 4 already?
I think we are on number 4. It goes fast.
We're getting pretty good at these. Tonight we have Arnie from GV Limousin in Garnett, Kansas. You pronounce it?
Garnett,
correct?
Kansas.
And they have a sale coming up this Saturday, and we're going to visit about it a little bit. And I guess you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started maybe in the Limousin breed, and go from there.
Been a long time ago, but I was born and raised up in Northwest Iowa, and a guy by the name of Shane Lindsay and his dad, Don, were the ones that got me started showing Limousin cattle. And then I worked for Harold and Marilyn Reinhardt up in Highmore, South Dakota for a couple of years. And then I worked for Simmons Brothers for a year and a half. And it was primarily showing cattle. And then I interviewed for a job down in Norman, Oklahoma with Spitz Limousin. You guys are probably young enough, you probably never heard of them. But when I was down there for 6-7 years and managed that outfit down there, and we showed cattle. In fact, if you look back in the archives at Denver, we had a bull by the name of Spitz Navajo that won Denver 2 years in a row. And we had 2 females, different females, but they won Denver the same time that bull won Denver 2 years in a row. And
I bet that was a party then.
Yeah, you got that right. Anyway, they were all Triple Crown winners too, because we won Kansas City. And that's pretty much how I got started in the Limousin deal, was showing cattle. And then,
but how old were you when that you were doing those things?
Oh, mid-20s. Okay. Up till I was 30, 35. Anyway, the way I got settled in Garnett, Kansas, I'd known my wife's folks for a long time because my father-in-law Gene judged a lot of shows, the big shows, Denver and Houston, and I'd known Gene in Virginia for probably 4 or 5 years before I met Stacy, my wife now. I just happened to stop here in Garnett one night. It was around Christmas, and Gene and Virginia were gone. Stacy was home by herself, and we went and ate. There's a rib place at Williamsburg, Kansas, and we went over there and ate ribs that night, and that was the end of that deal. We got married about 4 months later, and that's pretty much how I got settled here in Garnett, Kansas, and we've been here for 35 years, 36 years now. And Gene and Virginia started this program. Well, my wife it's been about 50 years ago when they bought their first Limousin heifer to show. The girls, my wife and her 2 sisters. And that's how Gene and Virginia got started with Limousin cattle. And it just grew from there. Right now we're running about 350 head of purebred and Limflex cows. And we have this production sale every year, the 3rd week of Saturday. And
So
we
you
pretty
just,
much go ahead.
I'm sorry. So I mean that thing was rolling pretty good when you showed up and went out for
Well,
that
yeah,
day.
it typical agriculture. Gene was short of help, and well, and the guy he had working with him at that time, he was a good enough help, but he didn't know much about AI and cows and blah, blah, blah. But, it grew tremendously after Stacy and I moved back here. We started doing
Good.
some ET work, and we do a lot of AI work here, trying to use proven bulls in this program so we don't have so many outliers. When you're weaning calves, we try to AI to proven bulls so we know for sure what we're going to get performance wise, because we've always focused on producing high quality commercial bulls that'll go out in the commercial industry and put some pounds on the calves when the guys buy them. And that's always been the focus of this program, is producing commercial bulls.
Well,
Honestly, I got burnt out on the show road, honestly, and I was ready to quit looking through a windshield so much and sit down roots and do what we've been doing for 30 some years now. And I've enjoyed every minute of it.
And I think it shows for sure.
Definitely. In your book, one of the first pages, it has value of the bull. You want to explain that just a little bit?
It's pretty much self-explanatory, Charlie.
Yeah,
we've always had that. Pardon?
Just for people who haven't seen it, if you just want to kind of elaborate a little bit on it. I thought it was a neat page.
We've always had that in the catalog, just trying to explain to commercial guys how much a good bull is worth versus a bull that's just a bull. The guys that come to the sale, if they pay attention and look at the EPDs and buy a proven, a bull with good performance numbers, it's darn sure going to help their herd, and it's going to improve their bottom line. That's what it amounts to. But I don't know.
I thought it was a good page for people to take note of, I guess, for as good a times as we're in right now, for people to understand, you need to grab every dollar we can make right now. And I just, you can preach it all the time. And it always seems like if it's in print and you can see it, people seem to understand it a little more. I mean, you can talk till you're blue in the face, but I thought that was a really cool page.
We've had that page in there, Charlie, for a long time, just trying to explain to people, a lot of times you don't see something in print like that will explain exactly how much a good bull's worth versus an average bull. And that's why we put it in there.
No, I'd probably leave that there.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to bring up to people, because you're talking about when you're looking at the cow versus the bull, a cow is responsible for her one calf, when a bull, if you've got him out in the herd commercial wise, he's covering all the herd. He's responsible for all those calves. So, I mean, to me, there is a huge difference there. So I think that's a good point in what Charlie brought up there. Can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of think through and make your selections on what you're going to put in your production sale each year? What goes into that?
When we, of course, we're enrolled in limbs, so we get birth weights on the calves. Brandon, the young man that's been with us for 10, 12 years now, when those calves are born, him and I go on four-wheelers and weigh those calves on the scales. We've got a bracket that mounts on the four-wheeler. So we get the birth weights, so we know where we're at there. Then a weaning time, we get the weaning weights. And our spring calving cows, they go to native grass in the summertime, and those cows have got to wean these calves off heavy. We don't creep feed because those pastures are so big, and it's just not feasible to creep feed those calves. So the spring calving cows, they go to grass and they got to do their job. And, then we wean the calves in the fall, get the weaning weights. And that's about the time we start, paying attention to which calves birth weights were right, the weaning weights were right, and whether the disposition's right, and whether their feet are right. And that's the first, kind of sort on them when they're weaned. Visually appraise them, make sure they're sound in their structure. They've got enough, sets of their hock where they aren't going to break down as older bulls, whether they got enough slope to their front shoulders so they can walk properly. And, we pay attention to the feet on those bulls all the time. It's the Limousin breed isn't, every breed is fighting foot problems right now as far as structure. And we've tried our darndest, especially in the cow herd, to make sure those cows got good feet. So when we go to wean these calves, those calves are good too. And, and then after we get the weaning weights, then of course gets close to yearling time, and we visually appraise them again and check feet and make sure the performance is there before we ban the ones that aren't going to make it in the bullpen. And, they've got to be structurally sound. The birth weight's got to be right. They've got to have a heavy enough weaning weight and a heavy enough yearling weight to make it in this bull sale. And we're pretty darn critical about it.
You're probably more critical than anyone.
Pardon?
I said you're probably most critical of all.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. Brandon, the young man that helps us, he's pretty sharp too. If I miss something and he sees it, he'll say something, especially on the feet. But and of course, all these bulls, we genomically handsome when they're a year old. Make sure their pedigree's right. The dam and the sire, the sire and the dam are right. And then, it's just like these 2-year-old bulls we're going to be selling here Saturday. After we get those yearling weights, those bulls get turned out on grass. And this summer, the grass was good enough. We didn't feed them anything. All they had was grass from about the end of May till about the middle of September. And then I started feeding them a little bit then. But those bulls came through the summer really good. We had plenty of rain. The grass was good. They kept gaining, but they hardened up quite a bit after we got the
say they're probably like a tabletop hard, I bet, aren't they?
Yeah. And it was time by about the middle of September. Usually that native grass runs out of steam, about the 1st of September, and it was time to get started feeding them. But so we started feeding them about the middle of September. And
what made you guys go to the 2-year-old?
Pardon?
What made you go to the just selling 2-year-old and age bulls like you are?
This program, we've always had 2-year-old bulls. Okay. And honestly, I'd like to go to all 18-month-old bulls, but that means all these spring calving cows would have to be held open for 6 months to get them into the fall deal. So what do you do? In this, I'm sure we've sold some yearling bulls before, but it seems like some of the guys that buy them, if they aren't paying attention. You know, they'll leave them out there too long after the breeding season's over with, and then, you know, what they look like if they don't get them in and start feeding them. It's pretty tough on those young
Pretty hard to
bulls.
bring them back for sure.
But that's why we've always sold 2-year-old bulls. And I don't know, some people ask me if they're the sorts off the spring yearlings. I said, not in this program, they aren't. These are the best bulls that came out of that set of spring bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They are. But
Is there
in the fall,
30,
go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, what is there, 32, 33 of those big 2-year-olds?
Yeah, and there's a couple of them that aren't going to make it.
Okay. I mean, just you look through that book, and I mean, just a set of birth weights that are, you know, just real in check, and I mean, nothing just jumps out, you know, that's crazy high, and I mean,
You
just
know,
really getting
down where
the
we're at in this country, we can't hardly sell a bull that weighs much over 90 pounds. They just won't buy them. They don't want the headache. And, you know, you get up north, up in the coast and in there, those guys, they'll buy them big birth weight bulls. But
Nope.
down in this country, they won't. So why raise them? You know, that's why we pay close attention when we're using semen on bulls to AI some cows to. We just, you know, we're pretty critical on birth weight and the birth weight EPD on those bulls.
Well, I see what is about half the sales got your prefix top and bottom for sire and dam. I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's got
prob. I
just the
guess
hat over that.
I've never really paid that much attention,
Yeah.
I guess.
It's
But-
quite a
Would
few
you-
of them raised right there.
Would you say that if you had to say, you breed them like you like them, right?
We breed them like our customers like them.
That's right. And I like that.
We gotta like them too, but the first person that's gotta like them is the people we sell them to, you know, our customers.
And you guys probably get a lot of repeat buyers too.
Yep.
That come back year
Mhm.
after year. They know when your sale is each year and they're going to be ready. Right?
Yep, they do. If you take care of your customers, you'll have repeat customers, and we try our darndest, you know, to do the right thing.
And we've been hearing a lot of those same kind of words, you know, maybe said a little different, but the same message, I guess, the past few people that have jumped on here, you know, that customer service and taking care of the people that take care of you, and you know that's kind of a
Well,
fun thing
you
to
know,
keep
it's
doing.
just anybody that's been in this business, you know, as long as I'm sure, like, I don't know who all you've talked to, Glenn Treff and Simmons brothers, you know, everybody's been in it a long time. And the reason is you have repeat customers, you know? That's
Yeah.
what it boils down to.
And I think that's one of the interesting things that I know, me personally, I enjoy hearing is kind of a little bit of everybody's backstory and how they got going and kind of what you guys feel sets you apart. Because I think it does come down to a lot of the people aspect too. What drives you to get out there? I'm gonna put you on the spot in the hot seat a little bit. What drives you to get out there and to keep doing this? You talked about like when you were behind the windshield and that got old, which I totally understand. What makes you want to keep getting up each morning and doing this every day? What is it that makes you keep doing this and putting your prefixes out there and putting your production cell together? And what is it that excites you about it all still?
I think for us, or for me personally, it's just like after we get like this set of bulls clipped and see how good they look and know that people appreciate that and will come buy the cattle. I mean, and we try to make them as uniform as possible, you know. Oh, there's some differences in them, but the joy to me in it all is see the resulting product from the matings you've made each year to try to make as much progress as far as performance goes in the bulls and still keep the weaning weight or the birth weights down on them.
So yeah, you seem to emphasize a lot of traits, calving ease, EPDs. You've kind of worked on putting it all together, and I can see how you take pride in knowing that you've got that production cell catalog and it's all bred on your place, and you've worked many, many years and generations to get that quality of a set that you have. And I think I think that's exciting and that says a lot. And I can see how you have a lot of repeat customers.
Well, thank you. You know, this cow herd's been in existence for 45 years, and we've tried every year, every generation, calf crop generation, to improve them. Yeah, there's been bumps in the road. Everybody does when they're messing with Mother Nature, you know. Sometimes you use a bull you think's going to work on a set of cows, and part of them are good and part of them aren't so good. And so you move on to the next bull and try something else to see if the next bull will improve them the way you want them improved and the way your customers want them improved. And one thing I will say, one trait we have tried to do in these purebreds and limflexes, but specifically the purebreds, over the years, we've tried to get more marbling in these purebred cattle. And from the marbling scores, when we ultrasound them and their marbling EPDs, we've made significant progress in that trait over the last 15 to 20 years. These purebred bulls, they don't need to be really high marbling, but they need to be high enough so when you turn them out on a set of commercial cows, that they don't absolutely suck all the marbling out of that existing cow herd. And that we've made quite a bit of progress in that area. And, you know, we've always stressed having weaning weights and yearling weight EPDs and performance in these cows. We try to get them to the point where they've got more performance each calf crop. That's pretty
I
much
think
been
I think those bulls are pretty good. I mean, when you look at I guess I call them birth weights, you know, relatively moderate at best. You know, the growth aspect of them things, I guess I mean, it looks like not only on paper, but the eye test alone, them bulls look like they got some go to them.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
No.
Any more questions, kids?
You got 19 breds, all
Yep.
AI.
There's 20 cows in the sale, if I remember right. And I went through all that preg stuff the other night. I don't know if it's posted on DV auction, but no, I don't. There's 2 cows that were AI that did not settle the AI date. All the rest of them in there did. I think there's about 14 or 15 of them that were AI'd. So, you know, the ones that are, that's what another thing we've stressed is fertility in the cow herd. And it's just like last fall when we preg checked all of our spring cattle cows, there's about 150 of them. We had 3 open cows. And the grass was pretty good. But the preg rate on these purebred cows has been running that way now for about 10 years. So the one thing we've done to improve that end of the deal is any of the bulls that we AI to or the bulls that we turn out, their scroll EPDs have got to be big. Okay. And, you know, that results in more fertility in your females. And it's worked. We don't have very many open cows anymore.
Good. And you got a new auctioneer?
Yep.
we're talking? You want to talk about him quick?
You
Give him
know,
a shout out.
honestly, I don't know much about the young man. I think
Okay.
he started out in the Limi deal when he was young, and he's done quite a bit of ring work. And honestly, I don't know that much about him. I've heard he's pretty
Texas?
good. We
Guess
had
we'll find
Bruce
out.
Brooks. We had Bruce Brooks sell for 40 some years, you know, and then he retired, so we had to do something. So this kid's gonna get the shot this year and see how he does.
We'll be a judge of it, won't we?
Hey, you gotta give us kids a chance.
What's that?
I said you gotta give us kids a chance.
That's right. You're making me feel old now.
This is a big one for me. What's for lunch?
What's that?
What are we having for lunch?
Meatballs with Limousin beef.
Oh, right. Hey, I'm gonna miss it. Charlie, what's your
I
other?
I might bring some Tupperwares.
Charlie, what's your other question about the time?
Oh, I'll get to there yet. We ain't got that.
Okay. Didn't mean to rush you.
We're doing DV auction. Insurance is there.
Yep.
Okay, who are you going through with insurance?
Probably Mark Smith.
Okay. I mean, we're just trying to get that out there for people. I think that insurance thing's a big deal on these sales anymore. So meatballs.
Meatballs.
1 o'clock.
Limmy meatballs.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else is on the menu. I stay out of that. I let my wife.
That's fine. I just give me a plate of meatballs.
So everyone out there that's listening is going to be very disappointed to hear that you're not cooking.
It doesn't matter how it gets.
If I had the time, I'd probably help, but I don't.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
Starting at 1 o'clock?
Yep. 1
Sharp?
o'clock.
1 o'clock. All right.
Hopefully we don't get snowed out.
No, we don't want any snow.
I may have gotten a text message the other day at a sale from a guy asking, I thought you said you're starting at 1 o'clock. I was like, I know, made me out to be a liar, didn't they?
Did what, Charlie? I didn't catch that.
I've been kind of asking everybody about, their time. And we had a guy tell us, yep, 1 o'clock. And it got to be a little after 1. And had a gentleman text me. He's like, I thought you were starting at 1 o'clock. I was like, I know, it made me out to be a liar, didn't he?
Depends how windy everybody gets at the start of the darn thing.
Well, 1 o'clock. We're going to go with it.
Yep.
Well,
I might bring an extra shirt in case I spill a meatball. I've been known to do that time or two.
Well, I just want to thank you for being willing to come on and kind of educate us and talk to us about your sale and tell everybody out there you've got a great set put together and they would be missing out if they didn't go check it out and miss it. And that is February 15th, 1 o'clock sharp at Garnett, Kansas.
Yep.
And we hope to see you guys there, and we hope to see you on the road for the cattle call. Thank y'all.
Thanks for jumping on with us.
Yep.